Hello engineers, welcome back to another FE exam review problem. In this one, we're going to be going over integration. So this is going to be from the math section part of the FE review, and we're going to go over a few integrals. It's key that we get these math questions down for the FE exam, and you get those easier questions near the beginning of the test to help you pass. So let's go over the first problem here. Here's the problem. Find the integral of the equation 6x cubed minus 3x squared plus 5x plus 10, and we have the four options down below. So let's break down this equation and let's take the integral of this equation. As always with our process, we want to identify what equations we can use in the FE manual to solve this problem. Now you'll probably notice that you might not need to look at the FE manual to know how to integrate this problem, and that's fine, but the equations are in the FE manual, so check those out, and they'll show you how to integrate all sorts of equations in there. I also know that your calculators that you're allowed to use on the test can also perform integrals. So if you know how to use your calculator, that's a great time saver. Just punch it in and it'll spit out the equation. But I'll show you the nuts and bolts of this process so you can learn from scratch if you have to. So we're trying to find the integral of the equation with respect to the variable x. So this is pretty straightforward equation for integral. You're going to add 1 to the power. So 3 plus 1 equals 4, and then you're going to divide by that new power. We're going to do that across all the terms here. So now we have x to the fourth, since we added 1 to the power, and then we're going to divide that 6 by 4. Same thing, we're going to, that squared is going to add 1, so we have a 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 5 halves x squared plus 10 over 1, which will just be 10 raised to the first power. And then we also want to remember that when it's an indefinite integral, meaning we're not integrating with between two values, we have to add that c value. So remember plus c in this case. If we had two values, then we would plug those in, and then that would be a slightly different process, and we'll do a problem on that later. So with that given, we're going to put c as our answer, not b, right? Because it doesn't have the plus c included. So c would be our answer in this equation in this circumstance here. Here's another problem example. Find the integral of the equation sine x plus 3 cosine x. So how are we going to solve this one? This is a trigonometric integral. If you forget them, your calculator can be able to do them. They're also in the FE manual, which is incredibly convenient. So if we look here, integral of sine x, that an indefinite integral, well, negative cosine x is the integral of that. And same thing with cosine x integrated equals sine x. Here's the thing about having terms outside of a trigonometric integral like this, what you can do, because in our equation, there's a 3 outside of that cosine, right? So what are we going to do? Well, you can take that 3 outside the integration terms very easily, and then integrate that trigonometric function, and then just multiply it by 3 at the end. Unlike derivatives, where we have to go 1d2 plus 2d1 for the process, this one we can just take that 3 right outside. So, sine x equals negative cosine x. We saw that back here on the previous slide. So we've got that. Sine x equals negative cosine x. And then cosine x integrated equals sine x multiplied by that 3. So our final answer is going to be negative cosine x plus 3 sine x. So our answer for this problem will be A. And that's the one that we would mark. If you're having a problem with FE exam review problems, there's a nice process that we've enlisted in this guide. Click the link below to download the guide. It'll show you how to solve any FE exam problem that you come across and give you a direct process. Please like and subscribe to this video, and we'll see you guys next time.